We have from Tennessee, the big win today, Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. And again, if you have a question, please find a microphone and ask your question directly to one player or the other. If you want to hear from both, just go ahead and say, I'd like to start with one player or the other. And these two are pretty happy, so they're ready to hear your questions.
For Admiral, Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Can you explain how you guys can look so dominant for long stretches and then have what happened?
Well, honestly, one of the things we always say is it doesn't have to be perfect. It never has to be perfect because basketball isn't perfect, and most times that's how the game goes. Sometimes, you have a big run, you have stretches, but the way we started the game, that's the team we are, and the way we finish the game, we can't have that, and that's what got us beat throughout the season. And the team that you saw in the first half is what won 31 games, and we got to be consistent in that aspect. But at this time of year, it's just about winning. It's about surviving in advance, and all I can say is go Vols.
Grant, just what was being talked about before overtime, and what can you say about how you guys were able to just kind of reverse the momentum and execute the way you did those final 5 minutes?
Well, we knew that we had to make plays. We knew that defensively we had to step up because we came out of halftime and we were trying to slow the pace of the game down, and that's how they like to play. And we should have just kept going for how we were going and kept the pace up and kept trying to be aggressive and dominant. But that's a learning moment. We got it done. And going into overtime, we just said we've done this before a lot, and we've kind of fought through those games. So we just knew we had to get stops, and we knew what plays we were going to go and try and attack, and we got it done.
For Grant, it seemed like you wanted the ball in overtime. Is that true? What was going through your head as you walked out after the final buzzer of regulation?
No doubt. I definitely wanted the ball. Definitely knew I had to be aggressive, but I also knew that my teammates were going to hit shots. So at the end of the half, I knew that Lamonte was feeling it, and also he was going to get us a good shot. So I knew that putting the ball in his hands, we were going to get a great opportunity. And we did. We had multiple possessions where Lamonte had big shots. He also was defending his butt off tonight, and you commend and respect him for that. But you got to give credit to all the guys. Kyle Alexander was phenomenal tonight, and to anyone who doesn't believe that or anything like that, he was incredible. He was on the glass. He was a presence. He was defensively there. He was doing his job, and it's all love. And hey, Coach, how's your suit? A little bit wet?
Well, because of these guys, my suit got soaked. I got soaked, and when my hair gets wet, it doesn't look that good.
Would you like to go ahead and make a statement since you're joining us, Coach?
Well, again, you got to give Iowa and Coach McCaffrey and his staff, they just got back in it. We turned it over. When you have a lead like that, you can't turn it over the way we did, but they took advantage of it. And once it got to overtime, I thought we really responded the way that we needed to, but it shouldn't have gotten to that point. But I think because it did, you got to give all the credit to Iowa and the fact that they took advantage of some of our silly turnovers. But Lamonte Turner, I thought, was key in setting the tone in the game early. I thought we were aggressive. We came out and played the way when the first half, like we do when we're playing our best basketball. But second half, we talked about the first 4 minutes, and we didn't do what we said we wanted to do in terms of, again, coming out, setting the tone. And Grant continued to pick up some silly fouls, and Admiral, and that changed the flow of the game. His foul in the last, minute and a half of the first half was a dumb foul, and that changes the game a little bit. And then he picked up another one trying to take a charge, and we just weren't a real smart team when we had the lead.
Do we have any more questions for Grant or Admiral? Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Herman from Newsday in New York. Grant, can you describe the pass that you made at the start of overtime that might have changed the flow of that extra period?
I just knew they were coming with a double team, so I spun baseline, and they came, and I knew the dude sunk down on JB, so I just knew I had to get the pass, and Bone was wide open. I don't know how I got there. I don't know how I did it, but they got there, and he made the shot, so I'm glad it happened.
And to follow for Grant and for you, Admiral, 1 year ago, a year and a week ago, you were on the other side of this emotion. How would you describe just the difference, how you feel now from how you felt a year and a week ago?
Go ahead, Admiral.
I would say the biggest thing is we're more appreciative for the fact that we had another opportunity to play in a game like this, and for it to almost go similar to what it was last year, it's almost nerve-wracking for a lot of guys on our bench because it was a lot of pain for us because we had worked very hard last year to get to this point. And this year we worked even harder, and we put ourselves in great position to be here. And we knew we were going to get here. It didn't matter what seed. We knew we were going to be in the tournament. So to be back here and be on the other side of it feels great. And we won't take that for granted. But the biggest thing is that we learned that we can dominate. We can dominate a game, and we just got to do that for 40 minutes. And we didn't do that tonight, but we got to be consistent with that.
I know myself. I feel like a fifth grader who just ate Skittles. Just want to say that.
Grant, can you play better than you guys played in the first half?
Yeah, we definitely can. We had a lot of breakdowns in the first half that shouldn't have happened. We had some offensive possessions where we turned the ball over, and those are the possessions we can't have. But we definitely have some opportunity or the talent to play better in the first half than that first half.
Do we have any more questions for our players? All right, go celebrate. Congratulations. Welcome to Sweet 16.
You want mine?
This is going on my wall.
Hey, take the rest. All right, they've got their mementos.
Coach, just the final play regulation, is that what you wanted with Jordan Bone in the corner for three?
No, we wanted the ball to Lamonte, and they jumped in a zone. We're going to go with a high ball screen with Grant, and they jumped in the zone. And we were waiting for it to get down, but we'd had success just getting the ball to the middle of the zone. And but now in that situation, players have to react as quickly as they can. But we were really putting the ball in Lamonte's hand and see what he could create. But they went 3-2 zone, and we should have, again, on that roll. I still think Grant was there, but it was hard for him, three guys up there, to see it. I thought Kyle was terrific today. It was really interesting throughout the game on our bench where we were wanting to sub, and at the end of the game, Admiral kept saying, "You got to leave Kyle in. Don't put me in. We got to leave Kyle in," because they felt like he could do what he needed to do, and he did some. He and Lamonte. Lamonte's defense was huge. I mean, he set the tone for us early, but I tell these guys all the time, your defense gets you the lead and your offense keeps it, and you can't turn the ball over the way we did to come out the second half. It's just sloppy. And but you know what? You sit back there longer than you normally do, and this time of year. But a couple calls that were tough calls, but Fran did a great job. We knew that once the foul trouble, they were trying to put fouls on Grant and Admiral, and then we were trying to do the same thing on the other end. And but Lamonte was really dialed in, and I mean his conversation throughout the game with his teammates was fabulous. It really was. And when we came out to start the overtime, we just said, "Hey, it's starting over. We're going to go get aggressive," and we got back on our heels where we just. When you turn it over like that and you give teams those opportunities, it's going to put you back on your heels. I mean, some of the ways we turn that ball over, it just baffles you sometimes. But again, you got to give Fran's a terrific coach, and his staff, they do a great job. And but I thought the biggest key was what Lamonte did with Bohanna. I thought that was the biggest key in the game because he was hounding him, harassing him the whole time.
Go ahead.
David Jones from Penn Live. Rick, Schofield took a 3 near the end of regulation that looked like a 2-for-1 tactic. I don't know if it was.
No, it was supposed to go inside, but he was so wide open it's hard to turn down. Yeah. We knew they were starting to double Grant Williams, and when we have the small lineup, we run that little set. It's an offset where they can't double with the post, and if it comes into the post, that means one of the wings or guards got to come in and double because they can't get down there. But he was so wide open, it was just.
Well, a lot of us interpreted that as 2-for-1, like an NBA 2-for-1. Was that true or not?
Yeah. Well, at first half we were trying to do it for certain, but how much time? I don't remember much time was on the clock.
It was about 45 seconds, I think.
Well, again, we ran it right away to score. We weren't coming out to try to hold it, but again, the ball was supposed to go inside.
And you took him out right after that, and he didn't play in the overtime. Why?
He didn't want to play. He kept saying, leave Kyle in the game. He said, Kyle is important. With 4 fouls, he knew they were going to come right at him. And he said, Coach, I can't guard the way I need to guard. I'm going to foul. And he said, so you got to leave Kyle. You got to put him in. And that was his decision. He said, leave Kyle in the game.
What went through your head at that point? Did you not question his own judgment?
Fine. I said, no, that's, because, again, Kyle was effective, and, Kyle wanted to play. And Kyle did a lot of great things today. But, the other shot was a tough shot. The one that he had on the baseline where I think he shot an air ball, that was a bad shot. And there was no reason to shoot that. But the fact is, we knew they were going to keep trying to punch it inside. And they ran a little, what we call lollipop action, where they were getting us deep in there. But after that, Kyle tried to do a little bit better job fronting it when he was that deep. But again, that's where I thought the guys were really locked in. They'd been together a lot. They were talking during the timeout. And we actually, at one time, put Admiral back in the game in regulation. He said, Coach, leave Kyle in the game. He said, we have to have him there to rebound the ball for us. And I think you realize that the players, they have a feel probably better than anybody in the building. And he felt like that was the best thing. And, Lamonte Turner kept saying the same thing, too. We got to have Kyle in the game. And normally in those situations, we go with a small lineup because it's a pretty efficient lineup. But I trust my players. I do. And for the fact that they felt he needed to be in the game, we went with it.
Coach, I saw that Admiral was standing up next to you and looked like he was taking almost a coaching stance, even with that it being in foul trouble. How does that affect your team, knowing that he's still helping and doing well, doing things for the team, even though he can't be on the floor?
Well, it helps. I mean, he's into the game. I mean, he's a competitor, and, he's been here, longer than anyone. He and Kyle, it was great to see it happen today. And I thought it was great, unselfishness on his part. I mean, here he's been with this guy forever, Kyle Alexander. He's watched him grow up from a little baby giraffe to where he is today, and where he used to wobble down the floor. And it's amazing when you think how far he's come. But the fact that he felt, again, I mean, he and Lamonte, those guys were adamant. Kyle's got to be in this game. He's got to be in this game. And so, I think it's their team, and I know how hard they've worked. And if they felt that strongly about it, we could go a possession or two and see what happens. And at that point in time, we had made up our mind that we were going to really play through Lamonte and Grant. We're going to let those guys. We're going to play through those two guys.
This will be the last question for Coach Barnes.
Two quick ones. Was anything special said before overtime? Any special thing? And Jordan Bowen, who missed the last shot against Loyola last year, missed the shot at the overtime, or the regulation, but then made the one to start of overtime. How big a shot was that? And did you want to get him involved in overtime?
Yeah, he can shoot the ball. There's no doubt about it. I mean, and Grant I don't know how he got that pass there to him, because I saw where he swung baseline, but those are the kind of threes we want to take once we go inside out with it. The ones I don't like is when we just come down, and we actually did that a couple of times in the first half, where when the emotion of the game, the way we were shooting it, but we took three threes in the first half we shouldn't have taken, and where emotion got the best of us. But when Bones over there, he and Lamonte and Bowden, we expect him to shoot it. Actually, Bowden turned down one in the first half when we had come out of a timeout and said we got to play inside out, and Lamonte drove it really well from the right side, and Bowden shot faked and drove it, and I can't remember what happened, but I know he should have shot that one.
We'll take the one more quick.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
I'm good. You talk about how far your players have come. How far has this program come since you've been here?
Well, you think about it, Admiral Schofield, Lamonte Turner, and Lamonte wasn't on that team. He was redshirting, but Admiral and Kyle and our two walk-ons who have been a big part of our team, Lucas Campbell and Brad Woodson, those guys lost, I think, 19 games 4 years ago. And then I think the year after that, 15. And we came back after that, what was Grant's freshman year and their sophomore year, and had the hardest spring we've ever had in probably my last 20-some years as a coach. I mean, we put them on the track, because I told them, I said, you guys have no idea what it's like to play, because we had not made the NCAA we didn't make the any tournament. And I said, we're going to be a team that plays into March. There's 3 more weeks of basketball, so I said, for the next 3 weeks, we're going to get on the track, let you know that this is how long the season should be. And they didn't like it, but they embraced it. And then last year, when we got where we were, they actually said that they thought that was a turning point in our program. So at the end of last year, when we lost a tough loss to Loyola, I went back and I reminded those guys, you guys said that that was the best thing we did, so do we need to do it again? And they said, well, let us take care of it. And they really did. For the next 2 weeks last year, you would have thought they were still preparing to play 3 weeks. And they're a close group of guys, and they have worked hard, and I'm happy for them. And you could tell the other day against Colgate, the first meeting we had with them after last year, we said to them, we don't get to pick up where we left off a year ago. We're going to have to earn our way back there. But you ask them to a man, they would tell you that. And we talked about it after the game against Colgate, and that's what they wanted to do, was to get back there and see if they could go further. And so that's been on their mind, and they wanted to do that. And I thought that they carried a little extra stress because of that. And then we came up here, and all I talked to them about, we got to win a tournament between us, Colgate, and Purdue and Cincinnati. And I wasn't real happy that, if Cincinnati, the seed played out, that we'd be playing in their backyard, and we're right here in the middle of Big Ten country. But we've been a good road team, and these guys found a way to get it done, and the credit really does go to them. They've worked really hard. It hasn't been easy because as a program, we work, but they've embraced that, and I'm happy for them, and mad that they just soaked me when I walked in the locker room. They got me good. They got me really good, and but if it makes them happy, I can deal with it.
Best soak you've had in a while.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sweet 16, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Iowa momentarily. Thank you.